Mark 8 helmet, fear of missing out. Read in a Space Marine voice. Okay, I can't do that. Brothers rally, requiring a third-party account and making it a limited time event is unacceptable. Okay, so if you guys don't know, there's an event going on where you can get the Mark 8 helmet, and it's a pretty cool helmet. It's basically a helmet we already have, just without the icon, so it's really not that big of a deal. I know some people are really interested in getting certain helmets without icons, so they have more customization options, basically. And honestly, I think if you like the helmet, just making a pros account isn't really going to stop you from getting the helmet. Honestly, I don't really do these events, and these cosmetics are cool, but I'm very satisfied with the cosmetics I have. So the fear of missing out really doesn't hit me. I gotta be honest. As cool as this helmet is, I will mosey along. I will steadily decide to do this eventually. Basically, I'm not gonna rush to make an account to get a helmet that I already have. Getting the helmet without the icon isn't very appealing to me, even though it's cool. I understand why people definitely would enjoy getting this helmet. It's just, I am okay with missing out on it. But that said, it's really not that big of a deal just to make a pros account and, to get involved with the event. It is kind of cool. And there's probably people who haven't played the game in a while, where an event like this is something that will bring them back to the game just to get the helmet. So long story short, the fear of missing out really isn't hitting me. I don't really care that much. I think the event is cool, and I do appreciate that they do stuff like this. But you know what? Like that said, I think these events, one day we're gonna need an event where we get like an extra certain enemy spawn. Like maybe there's a Terminator event, and every extremist is a Terminator. Like something like that would be cool, right? But like it obviously depends. This event does go on for quite a bit. It starts today and then goes on to the 3rd of March. So you do have quite a lot of time to get the helmet. But okay, let's go back into the post. The base Mark 8 helmet should be available anytime, regardless of whether you've connected a pros account. Here's the thing. I think if they were to add a helmet or something that's supposed to be like a patch, right? I feel like this event, it kind of helps them add in cosmetics without doing any patches. I do think, that is a useful tool for them and for us to get, cosmetics, and a limited event is kind of interesting, It's nothing that's going to, get me out of bed like, oh boy, it's 3 a.m. I gotta go grind my community event for the Imperial Vigil. But at the same time, it's cool for people who want it. It's not so much the fear of missing out that bothers me. Honestly, getting worked up about this, I just feel it's just kind of worthless. It's just an event. Like if you want the helmet, get the helmet. It's no big deal. Upvote this idea on Focus Entertainment forums to let Saber Interactive and Focus Entertainment know that the community won't stand for this. All right, this guy's taking this way too seriously. He does have an edit here that says, please don't take this too seriously. The flares, complaints, gripes, and moans, after all, also just trying to make an interesting read. I guess, I think there's some flair in there that's interesting, but, like, dude, I'm sorry, but when you say the community won't stand for this, and it's like, you're like, the limited time event is unacceptable, people are gonna take it seriously. You're basically saying this event is, like, bad or worthless. Not really worthless, but they're trying to make it more dramatic than it needs to be. Like, frankly, if you don't want to do the event, don't do the event. If you don't want to make an account, guess what? Nobody's forcing you. And if you do want this helmet, congratulations. You are a reasonable person who will likely either make an account to get the helmet, and then just steadily grind. It's actually kind of an interesting event strategy, I think. You really just need a victory with each of the 6 classes and operations. They don't even need to be hard mode. You can just go into minimal if you want. And I think this also actually provides an opportunity for people to try out classes they haven't played. So overall, I think this event's actually a big W, and not so much as a fear of missing out thing, because I gotta say, I think the helmet is cool, but my feelings aren't hurt if I missed out on it. If I make a pros account, I will eventually. You know, I'm not gonna rush. I'm not gonna rush and make a pros account. Like maybe on like March 1st, I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'm not doing anything. Let's make this account. Let's play 6 operations and get the helmet. You know, get the helmet. Why not? It is a pretty cool helmet. It is a pretty cool helmet, though. I'll give him that. But okay, yeah. Let's jump into the comments. Let's see if people are let's see if people are freaking out about this. I wish that devs would make such events more frequent. New cosmetic pieces every 1 or 2 weeks would be awesome, and it would encourage me to play the game even more. Wow, okay, I was expecting some hate comments, but hey, you know what? This is true. This is definitely something easy to implement, and it would definitely bring some cosmetics. I mean, I agree. Yeah, if they did it more often, that would be nice. Excited for the helmet, but let's not go too crazy on the time cosmetics unlocked. Fear of missing out is not a good thing. All right, so obviously if they had a better way to do this, I think they should, you know, as far as like adding in a helmet that has like a, you know, some sort of challenge. Yeah, that would be cool. I'm still trying to unlock ordeals and stuff, so I gotta be honest, I'm more focused on that than I am on doing any sort of pros account challenge. That said, fear of missing out. Like, look, I get that's the strategy, but like you still have to take some responsibility for yourself here. It's so crazy that people are that people like kind of gauge this thing like, oh, they're doing a fear of missing out strategy. That makes me, you know, that makes me mad. And does it make you mad because you want the helmet? Because if you want the helmet, you can just get the helmet. If it makes you mad because you don't like the fear of missing out, is that a you problem? Because fear of missing out, it's not like they install the fear of missing out into you. You know what I mean? That's pretty much your emotions. And fear of missing out, the thing is, it wouldn't exist if it didn't work on certain people. So if it really like emotionally drains you one way or the other, I feel like that's something you're working on. If basically what I'm saying is if you actually have the fear of missing out on this thing and it makes you mad, then just get the thing. And if you don't want the thing because of the fear of missing out, then you shouldn't be emotional about it. You know what I mean? It's like exactly how I'm kind of approaching it. Like, I'm not really going to rush myself to get this helmet. I think the helmet is cool, but like at the same time, you know, it's not like something that I absolutely need. I don't have any fear of missing out because it's a limited time event. You know, it's one of those things where it's like, if I get it, that's cool. If I don't, that's fine. You know what I mean? Like, more people need to have that attitude. I do think that there is something to be said about the strategy of fear of missing out and see like if it actually works to that extent. But normally fear of missing out is more for like a Fortnite type game, you know, or like something for like kids, basically, is my point. So it's just weird seeing people kind of get worked up over it when it's like, it's really just a helmet, man. It's not like a huge event that's only around for a weekend. They even give us like more than a week to get it. So it's like really not even that it's not really that like strict of a fear of missing out element, really. You kind of have more than enough time to get it, which is, yeah. It's interesting. People have more of an issue with the limited time aspect of it than they have an issue with like the signing up for a whole account thing. And again, I think if they did have an easier way to do it, they should. But the fear of missing out, I understand it's not a good thing, but it's really not that big of a deal for me. The issue for fear of missing out is if you miss out like on a big like upgrade for your build. You know, that's more of like, oh god, I really need to go and get this upgraded chainsword that they just added into the game and it's only available for like a week. That's where it's an issue. But just for a helmet, meh. Like, okay, fear of missing out isn't bad, but like I'm really not emotionally invested at all, like one way or the other. They need to get rid of these stupid time frames for these cosmetics. The first time this happened with the chainsword, the event was broken for 2 days, so people just gave up. Oh yeah, that's another time they did it. That is, yeah, so sheesh. Look, that's also another time that I barely really paid attention to that chainsword, you know what I mean? I bet they will add a cosmetic that I want to get Even this helmet is something that's kind of cool. But the thing is, I kind of understand. I understand it's pretty much a, like, the limited time event cosmetic strategy definitely seems to have a sort of like stipulation. It kind of has a stereotype, basically. People really already, they already kind of contribute it to what we see on other AAA games, like how they really apply their fear of missing out a lot more strict than what we see here. But yeah, the chainsword event was definitely broken for a couple days. I know it started working, and you even have people. So on the event for this helmet, it starts the 21st, which is today. You have people who were trying to get it last night, and they were saying it was broken and stuff, and it just wasn't active. So again, for the people who want the helmet, this is actually not even that strict of a time frame. It's basically like 12 days. It's almost 2 weeks. It's really just little, it's really little. It's basically just get those operations done. The signing up for the account is what bothers me more than the fear of missing out, to be honest. But I feel like this is one of the only ways they can put cosmetics into the game without like a full-blown update, or even obviously even putting in more time. Basically, just they have the helmet and they want to give it to us, and they also want to give it to us in a way that's going to bring players into the game for like a weekend. And I think it's fine, to be completely honest. Now, again, it's obviously not the best strategy for it, but are we really going to act like we're not getting cosmetics when when we get real updates and stuff? Like, we get a lot of cosmetics. And we do have a lot of cosmetics still. So I'm pretty satisfied with what I have. I don't really feel the need to sign up for an account to get a helmet. It is a really cool helmet, but it's a helmet that we already have. It's just a bit different. And for people who want the helmet, this is an easy way to get it. It's really not that big of a deal. They really need to get rid of these stupid time frames for cosmetics. Like, okay, I'm sure I'm sure one day they will add in these cosmetics in a pack or something, probably. I think it's just extra. It's just some extra stuff that should help out the game be a little bit active for the weekend. That said, the game's plenty active for me at the moment. Even in PvP, you get instant queues. I'm not even too sure they really need to add in these time frames anymore. But yeah, fair enough. I just, you know what, like, it's weird. You see some people kind of freaking out about it, but then other people are like, oh, cool, a helmet. Like, I don't know. I just don't see the value of getting emotionally worked up over this. This is it's really not that big of a deal. Like, even underneath here, this guy, he was like, oh, FOMO? Okay, I'm out. Like, all right, dude. Like, dude, how to look like a very, like, you don't look like an emotionally stable person if a game you enjoy does a small event like this and then you just stop playing it. It's like, bro, it's like you getting worked up over this is ruining the hobby for you, Like, this is kind of off subject, but do you ever see those videos of people are like, I just don't enjoy gaming anymore, and then like one of their first points are because of battle passes, and it's just like, bro, just play a game without battle passes. Just ignore battle passes. Like, it's weird. It's like you can't get out of your own way. And it's one thing to criticize the strategy, right? But it's another thing to get emotionally worked up over it, because it's not worth it. And once you get emotionally worked up over it, it's like you're basically harming your attitude towards that hobby. And this is a hobby that you enjoy, and you enjoy. But just because they do something you don't like, it's like you kind of have to get worked up over it for what reason? You know what I mean? It's really not worth getting worked up over it. You don't need to hate an entire game just because they do some limited time event for a cosmetic. Like, it doesn't come off as rational, or like it's, again, some constructive criticism goes a lot farther than getting worked up emotionally. This is awesome. I don't get why they have a picture of the hooded version on the side when we are probably not going to get it. See, now this is a good point. Yeah, they definitely show the helmet with the hood. I do think that is the helmet it's supposed to be. Like, the picture they're showing is I believe is the the intro version of Titus with the Death Watch stuff, right? So I don't think you can use the other helmet that we have because of the antenna and probably the icon as well. But this helmet does not have the antenna, so you know that is the version with the hood. But yeah, I think yeah, I know, right? It's kind of like they show it off in a way that we can't even wear it. Yeah, I agree with that. That's a little frustrating. But they do show the picture of the helmet without the hood, so you know it's not like they only show it with the hood. But yeah, this is a fair point. I'm not bothered by the account thing. I've signed up already. All right. But it is a dumb decision to release the clean helmet as a limited thing after people complained for weeks. Then they went and released the beaky helm with a clean version too. Well, hey, at least we got the beaky helm without any, you know, account situation. I'd rather these challenges be something unique to unlock rather than the base version of something we should already have. I mean, yeah, I think that's fine. But like the helmet, I'm not too sure if it's gonna be the helmet that we're getting with the event is definitely a clean version of a helmet that we had in the Dark Angels pack. And I think that puts us in a weird situation where it's like if they put the clean version of the Dark Angels helmet in a different chapter cosmetic pack, maybe that's just not how they want to do it. Also, yeah, I do think this challenge, this account situation is like one of the best ways they probably can add in clean versions of stuff they, you know, already added into the game. Basically, this account is this account challenge situation is probably the best way they have to add in cosmetics they might have missed. And not to mention, I don't think they anticipated us wanting the clean version for helmets. Even though it should have just been added, you know, why not? But still, yeah, this is a fair point. I agree on the time limit being a bad thing. However, I'd rather do an in-game event and play a couple operations rather than watch some random on Twitch for 2 hours to claim an in-game item. So he's talking about Twitch drops, and I do agree with this. I do think Twitch drops are a bit, I don't know. I just don't like Twitch drops. I don't even really do this pros account challenge thing, but I do think it's a little bit easier to just set up a pros account and then just play the game rather than, you know, watch Twitch. That said, you could just watch Twitch on your phone while you play the game also. Yeah, but yeah, I still like the challenge better than the Twitch drops. I agree with this. I do think people are kind of like not interested so much as the, you know, because of the time limit, I think it kind of definitely throws people off. Like it kind of, it doesn't really appeal to them, the fear of missing out, which is why my point for fear of missing out kind of tracks, where it's like if you want the helmet, just get the helmet. You know what I mean? If the fear of missing out strategy really bothers you that much, then don't get the helmet, you know? And like at the same time, it's so weird. It's so weird. People will be like, "Oh, cosmetics? Oh, boring. I don't want cosmetics in this game. Give me some real content." And then at the same time, they add in like a helmet with a challenge, and then it's all about, "Oh, fear of missing out. Oh my God, look how important this cosmetic is and how mad it's getting me." It's weird. It's weird. You know what I mean? Obviously, these are probably two different people, but you know there are people who are complaining about the content in the game, and they're probably also complaining about how many cosmetics we are getting, and then they're also complaining about missing out on a piece of cosmetic. Like, it's, you know what I mean? It's so short-sighted. That's why letting this stuff get you worked up is just driving people crazy, because like you feel one thing, right? But then it's like, you know better. It's weird. However, I'd rather do an in-game event and play a couple operations than watch some random on Twitch do hours of gameplay. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, this is probably better than the Twitch drops. They likely should. I will say they likely should bring back all of these cosmetics for like one pack. You know, like some sort of like, I don't know what to call it, like online challenge pack or something, you know? Like that would be kind of interesting. But regardless, it seems like people are kind of not too interested in engaging with the event, but you do have people who are like, yeah, it's just a cosmetic, no big deal. Like you have the one guy earlier already say that they had like an account already, like they already had a pros account. They just, you know, they just don't like fear of missing out, but they're still gonna get the helmet, which is fine. Like, you know, It's definitely better to be constructive than emotional. But okay, yeah, let me know in the comments how you guys are. Let me know in the comments if you plan on getting the helmet. But obviously, fear of missing out strategies aren't the preferred way to get it. I understand that. Like I understand that. I just, stuff like this really isn't. Stuff like this doesn't bother me too much. It's not enough to really move me one way or the other. Like, as much as I agree that I wish they could do this a little bit easier and just implement the challenge in-game, I think the way they're doing it with the account is probably the best way they have available to add in new cosmetics. And hey, if you want the helmet, this is a good way to get it. You really just need to complete 6 operations. It's not really that big of a deal. And not to mention they give you almost 2 weeks to do it. So as far as limited time event, this is kind of an extended version of that. So I think they're doing it the best way they can.